11 years of marriage ruined by an exit affair. Hope it was worth dispensing so much pain around you for your happiness asterisk. I guess it is time to write my story. Even if it will stir up some bad feelings inside. But I must do it to relinquish some of the venom I feel inside. Bear with me, and the way I write considering English is not my first language. I am almost 40. My ex-wife is 39. She became my ex-wife exactly 6 months ago. In the middle of November last year. She sat me down and told me she fell out of love. That she wants a divorce. That she still loves me, but is not in love with me. After 18 years of being together and 11 married, she was serious. Me and my wife met 18 years ago during college. We graduated together and dated for 7 years until 2012 that we began our life together, getting jobs, working, and spending time together. She even waited for me when I went for 2 years to begin police training. At graduation, I received a post somewhere in the rural area, far away from my city. That meant that I could come at the end of the week. 2 years after, I asked her to marry me. I was clumsy and emotional. I wanted to do a big and romantic gesture, but ruined it. Still, she said yes. And she made me the happiest man. That we moved together in a small flat until the wedding with the intention that after to buy an apartment. But life had this knack to kick you when you least expect. That we lived in that small flat for more than a year. Until we had to move with her parents. That we stays with my in-laws until 2015 when my daughter was born. A beautiful child with blue eyes and a flock of red hair. Unlike me and her mother that I know in my very bones she is my daughter, wouldn't accept anything else. That we moved to our own apartment in 2016. It was a rush job. My wife was sick and tired to live with her parents and wanted her own life. I wanted to, but just been cautious. It hurt a little when she gave the down payment without consulting me about the apartment she found. But I was at my station and couldn't see it, and she paid from fear of losing it. Either way, it didn't bother me that much. As long as she was happy and liked the apartment, I could make anything out of it to be a home. Our home. But that meant money. And for the time being we were out of financial resources. To renovate the apartment meant financial sacrifices and long hours of work. For a few years, some rooms were just closets to store things. Then slowly things began to move. Time passed, and I got paid better. I closed some loans and renovated another room. And different improvements in the house. Working in 8-hour shifts helped me be next to my family, even if I commuted 3 hours to my post every day. Sometimes we fought, not big arguments, but fired up. I was always asking her to be more affectionate towards me. I wanted a sign that she loves me and appreciates me. She always replied that that's her way of being. She loves me and has feelings for me, but it is hard for her to show them. That we were both introverts. In time I became more of a people person. I came out of my shell, and I like to think that I helped her do that too. To a certain degree because she was still more of a silent type, but could very easily socialize when she felt comfortable. Sometimes during our arguments, she would end them asking for a divorce. That I always thought that she did that to hurt me. But now I see that was always in her heart. Now, thinking back, I don't ever remember of her telling me she loves me, like out of the blue. She always said it after I would tell it to her, but never from her own free will. Or that she appreciates what I do. In the summer of 2022 I moved posts as I passed an interview. I came home on a leading post, being paid better. Also my shifts changed to 12/24, 12/48, which meant a lot of spare time to be with my family. I did chores in the house like any other husband would do. I took my daughter to the park, feed her, dressed her, put her to bed, did groceries. Because my salary was way bigger than hers, I took all the financial problems onto me and left the household expenditures to her. It was working. We were a team. Although, sometimes when from month to month I would struggle financially, I kept it to myself. Sometimes the dread of not being able to cover our mortgage was so overwhelming that I felt like I was breathing fire. That is why when she found a new job, with a little pay raise we consulted and decided to go for it. Even if it was just for a year, it was good to build more diverse experience in the work field. It is a company from US with a branch in my country and some offices in my hometown. I told her I support whatever decision she will make, and even if after that year she won't have that job anymore, we will struggle a bit, but we'll make it from my salary. Another good side was that she would work a lot from home. In the beginning, I saw her struggle. I guess there were a lot of new terms and terminology and new information she needed to absorb. So I try to help the best way I can, but giving her time and freedom. After a night shift, 12 hours in patrol, I would come home early in the morning, stuff myself with coffee, and took our daughter to school. I stayed awake because in a few hours I had to go to take her from school, then bring her home, change her clothes, feed her, take her to park, put her to rest for a few hours. Sometimes, not all the times I prepared dinner, I washed dishes even. If putting them in a washing machine doesn't qualify as a grand effort, that I did laundry when she was overwhelmed. Yes, I said. We were a team. Her during the night, me during the day. Me during the work week, her during the weekend when I worked. When our schedules coincided and had a free weekend, we tried to make something nice that I would always let her pick what she would like to do, because I wanted to be something relaxing for her. But it's hard with an 8-year-old daughter that only wants in parks and to meet with her classmates or friends. But we did things together as a family. Even when we went to a vacation, I would let her pick the place, mountain or seaside, and I was always scolded for not choosing the place where to go, for not organizing things that I in the middle of 2023, something shifted inside her that I don't know what. At that time, I didn't feel it that I always thought that it is stress from her new job. I was walking like on eggshells around her, and she became more distant than her usual self. Also, because my shifts sometimes start early in the morning, way early, I moved into another room and let my wife and my daughter sleep in the master bedroom. And apparently, I snore and she has a light sleep. But I didn't mind, although my daughter always asked me to sleep next to her because she doesn't mind that I snore. Our partnership became more like a roommate situation. I would work, pay bills, and give my wife free time by staying with our daughter and taking care of our home. That don't get me wrong. She did a lot of stuff around the house and cook, as did I, maybe more than me. But also she would choose to spend some time alone for herself instead of spending it with us. That I understood back then that she needed her time and her freedom. And I never banned that. She needed to go to a girls' night out. I flipped my shift and stayed at home. Company Xmas party? I had a wonderful doll party with my daughter, but I missed her. She asked me why don't I go into town with my friends as a compensation. But I did not want that. I wanted time and attention from her. She never understood that. She said I was too clingy. Sometimes when I woke up early in the morning, I would have set my alarm 10 minutes before my normal time, just to snuck in her bed next to her and our daughter and hold them. In time, all my affection signs became a nuisance to her, I guess. She never showed otherwise. That I guess a lot of is my fault. I couldn't see the forest because of the trees. It is a saying in my language that I was caught up in building us a home and stability. I forgot to appreciate her. To bring her flowers, I forgot to make her unexpected presents, and the ones that I was making weren't the best. To take her to vacations, to be unexpected, and she stopped investing in me. Fight for me. Or maybe that was long before. I didn't know anymore. I saw her drifting away from our family. Me and our daughter would go out at park. She would choose to go out at random walks or with her bicycle, and I was okay with that. I hope that it is what makes her happy. Help her decompress after a long week of work. So, in November, she told me she wants a divorce because we became roommates and has no feelings for me. She shattered my entire heart into little pieces. I know her, and I knew this time was serious, not just to hurt me. She said she felt this way a few years, but did not know how to end things. She believed we would be happier apart than together. Anything I would say, she would spun it into a reason. To break up, to divorce. For a week I did the pick-me-up dance. I tried to talk with her, to reason with her. I proposed to go to counseling with her. Nothing. She was adamant that I told her I would fight to win her heart back, to be the man she fell in love with. I ignored my friends and family idea that it is about someone else, that I could not believe it and accept that the person I dedicated my life to, with which I wanted to grow old, could be such a person that I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and I cried that I lost more than 8 kilograms, almost 18 pounds during that week. And I kinda am a skinny guy even now in my 40s. After a week seeing her sleeping during nights without any remorse and with tranquility, I told War I was still set to win her back, but cannot do that if she allowed someone else in her heart. And that is when she came clean. It was a coworker, older than her, she said, who has kids of his own. It was an emotional affair for 2 months, and it became physical. That made her decide to leave our family. During that night, I stayed awake and made a profile of what kind of guy he could be. I used all my knowledge gathered during 14 years of uniform. In the morning, I gave it to her, and after reading she laughed it off that I know now I should have used. The fog she was in to throw her out of our house. She even offered to leave. And during an argument later on she redacted that she would have taken our daughter with her. But at that time, I decided to leave. It was the best for my daughter to make the transition easier. In the 1st of December, 2023, I left out home. In that morning, I took her phone while she was at bathroom and unlocked it because my daughter had shown the night before the pattern to unlock it. I found her messages with this guy. I took some photos of them. I couldn't see straight and I was shaking uncontrollably. Some of them came blurred. They didn't just had an affair, they were kinda living together. When she said she was going to her office, even after one of my night shifts, she would go to him. Working remote allowed her to do her work from his place and cheat. I was surprised that she could be so attentive with this guy, showing him affection and towards me not giving the time of day. I mean, she could message this bastard early in the morning with kissing emojis, but couldn't give two shits on me during an entire shift. Not even a message. I was in a very bad place. I was worryingly thin. I gave a scare to my mother-in-law, and she thought that I am ill. I couldn't bear to tell her what her daughter did, but I left. I retreated to my parents. It was the worst Christmas and New Year's Eve. It was the beginning of a shit show. I visited my daughter each day or each other day in my own apartment. While I was still paying the mortgage, during that time my daughter told me about mommy's coworker that visited them in the park and played with her, and I was on fire. Literally, it was like I was breathing venom each breath. So I did a simple background check on this guy as much as I was permitted without breaking the law. 8 years older than her, was married twice, and during his second marriage he had a child. A daughter the same years as mine, 2015, but with a third woman. 3 years after he divorced, and fathered another 2 boys with this third woman, but without to marry her. He left her when his youngest was 1 year old. His FB page is empty, just a picture of a snail and of a sunset and a message. During the period, I guessed he left his family. I did not know how to search him on different other online sites, apps and stuff like that, but found his LinkedIn profile. So we decided to divorce. I don't think it was ever the chance of reconciliation. During my visits we argued, lots of gaslighting. It appears it is all my fault. I am not what she thought I would be. I don't know her. I don't know who she is. She married too young and hasn't experienced life as she sold. It was not fair that she only knew one man during her life. I always projected her as to be a person she is not, that she wants her freedom and independence, etc., etc. She said that she is number one person in her life, that she is entitled to live her life as she pleases, that her affair was a mistake, even if she still continues it, but it opened her eyes that she was unhappy in our marriage, that kids grow up and move into their respective lives. That I know she was unhappy. Maybe I was too. She stopped a long time ago investing her time and feelings in me. A lot of history changing, but maybe with some truths behind it. I asked her why she did not fight for our marriage if she felt she was drifting apart. Why she did not try to communicate with me about what she is feeling, that she feels neglected, that she feels alone and unloved. She said she tried but did not know how to put it in words. That I understand the need to change at a certain point in life, to reinvent yourself. But that change must come from inside yourself. Not changing all the things around you, but you staying the same. I asked her why she chose to make me go through such a painful, life-altering and torturing experience if she wanted freedom and was fed up with our family and choose to have an affair that divorcing. She replied that it just happened. That just happened. These things do not just happen. You let them happen. From the moment you decided to go out to a coffee with that divorced, friendly, and experienced coworker and choose not to tell your husband, that it when you started to cheat, because you accept the consequences of what it might happen, and that is why you don't tell your spouse. Because you know that deep down it is forbidden, but what is forbidden is so appealing sometimes, right? I also understand that. In my line of work, there were female colleagues, younger, more attractive, that wanted my attention. Maybe wanted something more. I don't know. I always terminated the possibility of anything else. Every day I choose my wife because of her, not her looks. I choose her for what we had, for what we built together, for our child, and for the friendship we had over years. I had so much love for her, but she always rejected me until I began to close within. Even if I was tired, but when she wanted to go for a walk, I would load up our car with their bikes, do tire pressure, oil the wheels, and carry the water. It appears that it was a problem to her. I didn't enjoy this escapes, and she considered I saw them as a nuisance. Even if I was dead tired, I would cherish all the moments he had together. I just had to suck it up and go past my state. I am tired of all this writing, and it has stirred my feelings. In February 9th of this year we divorced. Amicably. In my country. Even if the reason of the divorce is adultery, the law gives primary custody to the mother. After the age of 10 years old, the child can choose to stay with the other parent that we have common custody, her being the resident parent and I the visitor. We can set any visiting schedule we want, but if we don't reach common ground, then we revert to the one imposed by law, meaning I get a weekend once every 2 weeks. My heart is shattered in million pieces, and I miss my daughter so much that I miss my wife so much too, but the person she is now I do not know. She changed at 180 degrees. She is like a stranger for me. It breaks my soul to leave my daughter with such a person that has shown such a low morality, so weak values as a spouse and as a human being. During our divorce, I gave her the possibility to tell the truth to her parents, trickle truths, not the entire truth. I visited them. I told them that I had to visit them more times to show them the truth. They still thought it was my fault, until they confronted her and she admitted it, but they never had enough sway to make her do something against her nature. Or will the now ex-father-in-law told me that he feels like his brother died all over again. It break my heart even more to see their sorrow because I really love them. But still she is their daughter and they will side with her. After the divorce in February, it took another 2 months for her to find a small apartment to rent. During this time, and until my daughter turns 18, I must pay alimony. After she moved, I worked during my spare time into putting the old apartment into selling shape to me and my almost 70 years old father. She said she would help, but cannot help during the week because of work. But it appeared that she could abandon her daughter to her parents overnight, that she could go on dates with her AP. One of the blows she gave me even now is that she spend the weekend at her AP with our daughter. How could you be so cold-hearted to do such a thing to your daughter? Of course he brings over his place, his 3 kids for which he also pays alimony, especially his daughter. His children live with their mother and not with him. I don't know how that goes because they all have their residency at his address. He brings his daughter over to his place so that my daughter to have someone to play and sleep with while he sleeps with her mother, my ex-wife. My daughter always slept with her mother. Not a day in her life my ex-wife ever sleep in a different bed than my daughter's. How can she explain that to her daughter? This thing angers me beyond words. And the constant reminder of their messages that I tried to avoid meeting him. I am afraid that if he tries to mock me, I would snap and I would snap him in two. I am not ready. He isn't taller than me. He has a little weight, and he started to get bald. He isn't richer than me. What their women saw in him, I will not know. She didn't have the decency to give me the entire truth. This was not an affair in its infancy. She was working at that company of 8 months by then. Their affair must have had at least 6 months. She tried once to say she would like to remain friends and to co-parent. How the hell can you co-parent with an aggressor, a person that betrayed you, that deformed you to the core? How can you communicate with such an awful person that has so low moral values? If it was after me, I would forget her face, her name, and that she ever existed and plague my life. But I cannot. That I must keep in touch with her, for our daughter. This will not ever allow me to heal. That I tried to talk about it with my daughter. But what can you talk with a 9-year-old about something like this? I asked my ex-wife to talk to her often, and she says our daughter is fine, but I suspect it is just what our kids tells her mom, and she is satisfied with this answer without to dig deeper. I can see that she suffers. I can see that she tries to bury these feelings in her. And most of the times when I try to pry open her heart, she tells me she does not want to talk about this, just to sit with me in silence. But now she is so clingy to my parents when she visits. She is so clingy with me that I communicate with her via WhatsApp every day and take her once every 2 weeks. I try to take her often, but until I get my own place it will take a few weeks or months even. What it disturbed me still was the realization that whenever I take my daughter, I give my ex the opportunity to be with her AP. That until I figured, that is better that my daughter to stay with me than be in that guy's house. Even this week she spent a couple of days at her grandparents from her mother's side, while I guess my ex-wife worked hard during night. Now, even 6 months after divorce, it still hurts like in the first days that I thought to go get some counseling, but I would lose my job. Going to a shrink or asking for help in my line of job is a definitive sentence. I have to suck it up, To man up and get past this trauma on my own, that I learned to stay clear from alcohol, even if I learned it the hard way. I go to the gym every other day. I gain my weight back and strive to gain a few more pounds more, but it is hard for me. It appears I am a friggin' hard gainer. I try to quit smoking and to travel more. I went after divorce to visit one of my sisters in UK. A couple of months later, I visited my other sister in Barcelona. Soon I will go for a week with just my daughter at the mountainside. And in November, to celebrate the discovery of my ex-wife's infidelity, I intend to go to Iceland. I really wish to, but a motorcycle because I always dreamed of having one. But being a married man and with a child wasn't a financial priority. Also, raising that sum of money now with the constant payment of alimony is hard, so if anyone knows a way to make a little money, any advice is kindly appreciated. I don't know any more guys. I once asked my daughter what she would feel if I took with us at the mountain resort a lady friend. She was so panicked that her eyes started to tear. I told her we would go alone and will be just the two of us. She hugged me so hard that my eyes also started to tear. I do not think I am ready to date anyone. I felt inadequate. I know it's my self-esteem that plummeted.